Clinical trials save lives, but what happens when a patient cannot give consent in an emergency? This is where the exception from informed consent, or EFIC, comes into play. EFIC allows researchers to enroll patients in certain emergency research studies without their prior informed consent. It is a delicate balance between advancing medical knowledge and protecting vulnerable patients. Today we will explore what EFIC is, when it applies, and the rigorous safeguards that surround it. EFIC applies only in specific, life-threatening emergency situations. The patient must be in a condition where obtaining informed consent is not feasible, and the experimental intervention must offer the prospect of direct benefit. Common scenarios include cardiac arrest, severe traumatic injury, acute stroke, and other time-sensitive medical emergencies where waiting for consent would be impossible. The therapy must be urgently needed, and no equally effective alternative can be used. Community consultation is a cornerstone of the EFIC process. Researchers must engage with the communities where the study will take place, providing information about the trial and gathering feedback. This includes town hall meetings, surveys, focus groups, and public advertisements. The goal is to ensure the community understands the risks, benefits, and importance of the research. Community consultation helps build trust and ensures that the research reflects community values. The ethical justification for EFIC rests on several key principles. First, the principle of beneficence, the potential to save lives through research. Second, the principle of justice, ensuring that patients in emergency situations are not excluded from potentially life-saving treatments. Third, respect for persons, through community consultation and public disclosure. EFIC acknowledges that in certain circumstances, the traditional consent model is simply not viable, and that a carefully regulated exception can be ethically acceptable. Understanding EFIC requires knowing its historical context. The thalidomide disaster of the 1950s and 1960s exposed thousands of infants to severe birth defects, leading to the Kefauver-Harris Amendments of 1962 requiring informed consent. The Belmont Report of 1979 established the three core principles of research ethics: respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. These documents form the ethical foundation upon which EFIC regulations were later built. The regulatory framework for EFIC is defined in Title 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 50.24. This regulation was finalized by the FDA in 1996 after extensive public deliberation. It specifies 8 detailed requirements for EFIC studies, including life-threatening condition, inability to consent, direct benefit prospect, community consultation, public disclosure, independent data monitoring, and ongoing patient oversight. Institutional review boards have the primary responsibility for reviewing and approving EFIC protocols. Numerous EFIC trials have been conducted in emergency settings. In trauma research, the POLAR trial studied hypothermia after traumatic brain injury. In stroke, the Mr. Clean trial investigated intraarterial thrombectomy. In cardiac arrest, the ROC network has conducted multiple trials on advanced life support interventions. These studies have led to major advances in emergency medicine that would not have been possible without the EFIC mechanism. Patient perspectives on EFIC are complex and varied. Some survivors of medical emergencies express gratitude that research was available, while others express concern about being enrolled without their knowledge. Studies show that many patients and family members support EFIC when they understand the safeguards in place. Community consultation efforts actively seek input from survivors and their families. Ongoing dialogue between researchers and communities helps refine the EFIC process. EFIC is not without controversy. Critics argue that it undermines patient autonomy, even with community consultation. Some worry about vulnerable populations, such as homeless individuals or non-English speakers, being disproportionately enrolled. There are concerns that the urgency of research may overshadow individual patient rights. Proponents counter that the safeguards, including IRB oversight and data monitoring, provide robust protection while enabling critical research to proceed. How does EFIC compare with standard informed consent? In standard consent, patients are fully informed about risks, benefits, and alternatives before enrollment. With EFIC, this process occurs after enrollment, as soon as the patient or their legally authorized representative can be consulted. Both models require disclosure of study details, but the timing differs fundamentally. Both models also require the right to withdraw at any time without penalty. EFIC is not a waiver of consent, but a carefully managed delay of the consent process. The future of EFIC involves several exciting developments. Researchers are exploring adaptive trial designs that can refine protocols in real time. New technologies, including mobile apps and digital platforms, are improving community consultation. There is growing interest in streamlining regulatory processes while maintaining patient protections. International harmonization of EFIC-like regulations is also being discussed. The goal remains clear: to conduct ethical emergency research that saves lives. Public disclosure is another essential requirement of EFIC. Researchers must inform the community before a study begins and share results after it concludes. This transparency ensures that the community can hold researchers accountable. Disclosure methods include news media, community newsletters, websites, and public meetings. Public disclosure transforms EFIC from a regulatory exception into a collaborative partnership between researchers and the communities they serve. Data monitoring and safety oversight in EFIC trials is especially rigorous. An independent data monitoring committee, or DMC, reviews accumulating data for safety concerns. The study must have a detailed plan for contacting legally authorized representatives. Patients can withdraw at any time, and their care will not be affected. This multi-layered oversight structure ensures that EFIC studies maintain the highest ethical standards while pursuing critical scientific knowledge. In conclusion, the exception from informed consent is a vital tool for advancing emergency medicine. It is built on a foundation of ethical principles, historical lessons, and robust regulation. Community consultation, public disclosure, and independent oversight ensure patient protection. While controversies remain, EFIC enables research that saves countless lives each year. As we look to the future, continued dialogue and innovation will strengthen this essential framework for ethical emergency research.